So I've just filmed another video talking about the 10 things that I love about this M5. But in this video, I'm gonna go on about the 10 things that I don't love about the M5. And it's weird that even though this is the most perfect car for me, there is an actual 10 things that I don't like. Now, the first thing that I have to say that I don't love about this car is actually on the passenger side, and that is the seat belt here. Every so often, if this seat belt is not tucked in here, it will hit just like that as you're driving around, which is why you have to always bring out the seat belt like this. And I feel like it's such an oversight when you're driving the car and you just hear it tapping away. It's really, really annoying. The other thing that I really don't like is this touchscreen section here. It's the only small bit of touchscreen that you have to use regularly, but it's so flimsy that sometimes when you're trying to turn on or turn off the speed of the actual fan, you end up accidentally touching the heated seats, which when it's hot like today, that is not a mistake you want to make. And unless you're looking down there to turn on or turn off the heated seats, it can get a little bit annoying. Number 3 has got to be the fuel economy. It's a great car on fuel, considering how good it is on a long trip when you're nearly able to get 40 miles per gallon from a car that has 600 brake horsepower. But the problem here is the fact that when you're not doing some consistent driving and you leave the car at any point running, it guzzles that fuel up, and that is a little bit annoying. And I also feel like the deacceleration on this car is so aggressive that whereas a car could coast and you could get some decent fuel economy, if you come off the throttle, the engine is straight away doing its engine braking and you're always losing a little bit of speed. And that's a little bit annoying when you're living with the car and you're trying to be sensible on fuel. I know you're not supposed to own an M5 and be sensible on fuel, but sometimes you just rather have it coast and not have to keep your foot on the throttle to keep it at 30 miles per hour. Because yeah, it's happened to me so many times. So I'm just driving somewhere and you just see the speed creeping down and down and down. You're just like, why? You could easily just leave it in neutral or leave it in coast mode and it would just do it just fine. Because yeah, quickly on a local run around, this will drink up the fuel, and you would think that it wouldn't be so good on the motorway with how thirsty it can be locally. Now you might be thinking, why am I at the back of the car? What has this done so wrong to me? And in all fairness, it's not the back of the car, it's the exhaust. See, even with my car being a 2019 model year, there's still a few filters in the exhaust system that stops it from sounding as raw as my earlier one that I had, which I only had for just over a month. But that was a 2018 model year and that had no filters in the exhaust, and that sounded absolutely aggressive. And I missed that about that car. Now, unless you've lived with this car, you wouldn't know how annoying that cool down fan is. As soon as you drive anywhere and you park up and you turn the car off, you'll hear the fan whirring away. And I've had it before where people have approached me saying, your car's still on, we can hear the fan working. And I'm like, no, the car's turned off. Everything is just cooling down. And it's a little bit annoying when it's basically a big family saloon car. And as soon as you park up somewhere, all you hear is a car going, and it's just like, just chill. Especially if you haven't driven it hard and you're just parking up. But it shows how hot these engines can get, and the hot V setup is just creating extra heat in the engine bay that the car's desperately trying to get rid of. Next point has got to be down here. This little section here, you can kind of already see a couple of leaves in there, and it's super annoying to take them out. When you're washing the car or trying to get it clean, those leaves, they just want to stay there. And unless you're pretty much taking the front bumper off or doing something like that, you're not going to get it perfectly clean. And even then, if you do that, it's just going to get messy again. The other thing has got to be the charger here, because, well, if you've got even a slightly larger phone, it just won't fit there. And even if I take off the case from my phone, and this is the S23 Ultra, it's just too big. And unless you've got one of the smaller versions of the phones, it just won't fit. And considering this car was released in 2018 as the original ones, there was already large phones like this out at that point, and it was just not thought about by them. And that basically makes that entire thing a bit redundant to use. The other thing that I don't love about this car is the fact that it's slightly too big. Now, without the 360 cameras that I absolutely love on this car, I honestly feel like this is closer to a 7 Series size on the exterior, and that makes it a little bit too big for the UK roads, and that's not something that I love, which when I took it to Cornwall, it was really stressing me out. It's one of the things that I didn't love about the car. If I'm being completely honest about this car, the truth is it's actually too easy and effortless to drive fast. And as a car enthusiast, I respect all cars and I respect how fast they can be. This car disguises it so well that honestly, doing any form of speed limit feels like you're going 10 to 20 miles per hour less than it. And that's dangerous, because when you can comfortably do 165 miles per hour in this car and still have a conversation, you know that you're in something that's really well built. But if you don't respect the car like that, it's a death wish, and it's a speeding bullet that can get loads of people hurt. And it also means that when you're driving the car around, a lot of the time, it doesn't feel as special. It makes you feel like as though you're just cocooned so well that unless you're driving quick, it almost feels like as though you're not doing much at all. It just does everything so well. And that's something we need to be careful of. And if you can see that all of these points that are basically shown, apart from a couple of them, are basically nitpicking. But the reality of it is, the last one that I want to say is this car is irreplaceable. As a daily driver, as something that can do everything, there's not many cars out there that I would say that do it as good as this car does. It does the comfort really well, it does the performance really well, it does the handling really well, it is a fuel economy pretty decent for the car it is. And after living with it for 2 years now, honestly, it's been the hardest thing to look for a replacement of, and I couldn't get something that would do it any justice in doing all these things as this car does. So that's why I had to go to something extremely different and go for a BMW 7 Series. So got a video coming out about comparing these two cars, and if I'm being honest, this car is still better than the 7 Series is for me. But make sure you watch out that video, because as a 2025 plate 7 Series is not good as this, there's a few reasons why. Everyone, I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you found these points interesting. Be sure to subscribe to the channel, and I look forward to seeing you all in another video. And make sure you check out the 10 things that I love about this car. See you all there. Peace out. Bye.